So the car is idling, and that is because today we are adjusting idle speed. My car idles a little bit too low for my liking. It's a US spec plus also an automatic, and so it needs to be bumped up a little bit, especially earlier in the morning when it's a little bit cold. Now for some cars, it's a simple twist of a screw that allows them to adjust their idle. But on our 944, there's a little bit of a process. So while this is warming up, let me talk you through that. The first thing that we need to do is make sure that the fan and the AC inside is off. The second thing that we need to do is what I'm doing here, which is bring the car up to temperature. The range needs to be about 70 to 90 degrees Celsius, which is about 170 to 195 degrees Fahrenheit. Once the car is up to temperature, we then have to head over to a diagnostic port that the factory uses in order to do a little bit of jumping there. So I have to create a small jumper for myself as well. And then once all of that is done, we are finally ready to go in there and make small adjustments to a small screw to get our revs into the range that we're looking for. In my case, because of the US spec and the automatic, I'm looking for about 900 plus or minus 50 according to Clark's Garage. Now there are a couple of different ways one might be able to measure the temperature of your engine, but I'm going to be using this thermo gun. And I'm pointing it down at the sump, and that's because the key here is oil temperature, not overall engine temperature, but oil temperature specifically. I'm currently sitting at about 81 degrees Celsius when I look down here. So let me just quickly go underneath the car. A little bit lower here, but that's to be expected. So 81 degrees, yeah, I'm happy with that. And I think that's kind of slap bang in the middle of the range that I need to be in order to make this adjustment. The only thing is I don't have a jumper cable, so I'm going to head over to the bench, build a little jumper for myself, and then come back here to the diagnostic port. Now we really are making a tiny little jumper, so it's not going to take us any time at all. But I think to save us from the ongoing idling here, it's already up to temperature. I'm just going to switch the car off very quickly. Oh, that's much nicer. We're not going to lose too much temperature. We're going to be 2 minutes. So let's get into this here. Now we don't need anything long. So we are quite literally just going to, let's get it clean here, clean, and more or less there. Okay, not very long at all. Then we're going to just clean it up. And I know there are tools for this, but you know, sometimes we just use what we've got on hand. Okay, then we're going to shove these in here. Now what you'll notice is that these are not the correct little ends. And so all I'm going to do is I'm going to twist them a little bit, crush them a little bit, shape them a little bit, and then we'll be just fine. So here we go. Just crush it down. Pretty sure that that is going to fit. Yeah, so that's as good as if I had the correct one. Let's get this one done here. A little bit of shaping. And there's our jumper cable. Now before I start the engine, let's quickly talk about this process and the diagnostic plug. So it's down over here. I'm going to put a Clark's Garage reference over here. And what we're looking to do is we're looking to jump port B to port C. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So all I simply need to do is put it down there, into B, and we're done. I'm going to start the car and we're going to begin with our idle adjustment. So what have we done here? Well, what we're trying to do is we're trying to defeat the idle stabilizer. And let me give you a good sense of what that actually is in practical terms. If I remove the jumper, did you hear that? Did you see that? Suddenly it was a little bit more stable. And then if we come back here, and then look at that. So we're defeating the idle stabilizer, and we're going to adjust our settings in this mode. So I'm looking for about 900 or so RPM, plus or minus 50 according to Clark's Garage. I'm going to go grab a 7mm little socket, and I'm going to come over here to the throttle body and start making my adjustments. So we're going to do small increments, and I'm going to be trying to bring it up. Okay, that sounds like down. I don't want it to linger too long. Okay, let me take it all the way back. See what happens when we go further back. Okay. So rotating it clockwise is taking us down. She doesn't really want to come back up. Come on. There we go, there we go. So I'm pretty happy with where it currently is there, but that's of course with the idle stabilizer now disconnected or defeated. So let me see what happens when I take that jumper out. Okay, it jumps a little bit. I will say this, that I'm not 100% sure if I have any vacuum leaks or anything, so that's obviously going to affect our idle as well. I mean, I don't think I do, but let's pull it back slightly again here. Okay, there I can hear it. And with that little bit of tweaking and a little bit of adjusting, we now have 950 RPM with the idle stabilizer engaged. I'm pretty happy with where she is as she sits here, but of course the proof of the pudding is going to be in the driving. If I'm not happy with the experience, I now know the procedure and I'll just jump in and do a couple of adjustments. That brings us to the end of the video. All the best as you adjust the idle on your 944, and I'll see you in the next video.